Hi, this is Adam here with the Game Machine Transparency Pro, and I am joined with a special guest, Cyril Lachel of Defunct Games. Hello.
Uh, hey, Adam. I am here, joining you in a discussion about a game that came out. I'm pretty sure it was 3 or 4 years ago.
It was actually announced almost 10 years ago. And
That's true, but
it's not even a full game yet. It's a demo, a Final Fantasy 15.
yeah,
Yes, we're a little late to the party on it. Yeah.
it's probably not going to be a game for another year at least.
Yeah, something like that, most likely.
So everything that we talk about is not going to matter at all.
No, it's not going to matter to them.
You can pretty much just turn off this video right now.
You could do that, but why would you? They get to hear your voice. You have like this perfect radio announcer type voice. You can sell people ham. You know what?
Is ham hard to sell?
Just go ahead. Try to sell us some ham with your voice.
It is the other white meat, I think.
All right, I'm going to buy
Maybe?
some ham tonight now. See how this works? Anyway. Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to talk about the Final Fantasy 15 demo that came with the Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which you may be able to find a copy with the demo somewhere if you want to try it.
Are people eBaying? I don't know if you know this or not. Are people eBaying the code for Final Fantasy?
Yes,
15?
they are, and
Is
they
that something
suck.
that's
I'm coming out and saying that.
how much are
I've
those
seen some
going
people
for?
sell it for 60. I've seen some people sell it for more. So it's ridiculous, to say the least.
You should not buy it for $60.
You should buy the game for $60 because the game is not too bad at all.
Why would somebody pay more than $60 when they could just buy the game for $60? Isn't the game, doesn't it still come with the game?
No, not when they're selling the demo code by itself.
No, I get that, but I mean,
I think it's
doesn't the
supposed to be
code
first
still
run
come
copies.
with?
I don't know if they changed it
Oh,
digitally, but I've still seen.
It can't be on
I've
their
still
second
been-
run already. It's
Yeah, I still see copies in the store shelves. So if you guys want to pick it up, pick it up. We both have reviews
That's
on the
crazy.
game. We both liked it.
Actually, you know what? On second thought, if you bought a code, just the code for more than $60, I want to hear from you.
Talk to Sherry.
I would like to interview.
He wants to
you.
interview you. He won't insult you. I hope
No.
not too much.
Well, so Final
So
Fantasy
yes, Final
15
Fantasy
is a
15
game.
demo. Yes. So
It's not actually a game, yeah.
it's a demo of a game.
Maybe, possibly.
All right.
It probably won't come out.
Well, I think it has better chance than the last Guardian does.
Ooh,
Eesh, that still stings, doesn't it?
too soon.
Anyway, so we're going to start off by talking about, I guess, some of our experiences with the Final Fantasy series. And so I think I've talked with you, Cyril, before, and I think you have a little bit of a longer history with it than I do. So I'll let you go ahead and start, since you are a special honored guest here.
Oh, well, look. I bought the very first Final Fantasy on the Nintendo Entertainment System, but it was only because of Nintendo giving me a $5 rebate back when they were court ordered to give people rebates because they were overcharging.
Ooh.
I don't know if you remember that lawsuit back in the day.
I was
and
probably too young.
Yeah, that could be. Anyway, they gave everybody a $5 coupon, and then they sold everybody on the idea that Final Fantasy is the next big thing. And I'm not going to say it was the next big thing, but it was unlike anything I had ever played before, and I didn't really get it at the time. But I stuck with it, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it enough to go on to the next role-playing games, the Dragon Quest, I guess Dragon Warrior at the time. And all of those, and I bought the Final Fantasy 2 and 3, both the US ones, of course, and then moved on to Final Fantasy 7, and then I've stuck with it ever since. There are a couple, I guess a couple I've missed. I've missed the online ones. I have not played those. The I guess 14 and 11.
I got you. Okay. So those of you not okay, that's fine. So in other words, throughout
I'm not a big MMORPG person.
Oh, I dabble definitely a little bit in 11. I've only touched my toes
Fair.
in 14, but
And I hear that's fine. And that's probably great for the people that are really into the sort of online role playing games. But that's not
No, that's
me. I
okay.
don't have
I'm
enough
not.
time to
I
devote to that.
definitely don't. But there was a time when I did like 11, but I never knew anybody to play because
Sure.
everybody was into World of Warcraft. So that didn't
Yeah,
last
yeah.
long.
I wasn't into that either.
Yeah, me neither.
I like the story ones where I can just do it by myself and not worry
Like
about
a big
anybody
boy.
else. That's right. I like to go through it in my own
Any one of
pace.
those do you feel out of all the Final Fantasies that you played like really kind of just stuck out at you and like just kind of stuck with you?
Obviously, not to sound cliche, but obviously the Final Fantasy 3 on the Super NES, 6
Yeah.
now, and Crisis Core, the best Final Fantasy 7.
Well, couldn't even finish that one. I literally could not
Ah,
because
you are wrong. You are wrong.
I literally could not finish it. It was just for I don't
You,
know what it was, but I tried. I
yeah,
tried my damnedest to finish it. I still love that game. Don't get me wrong.
it's a great game.
It had some
Well,
issues.
you will probably have another chance when it gets turned into an HD upgrade on the
Well, we know how that went
PlayStation
with
4
Final
at some
Fantasy
point.
VII. Yeah, we're porting the PC version.
No, but that requires an actual, well, yeah, porting the PC one makes sense. You know, they have to actually remake it. They wouldn't have to remake, just like
It
they
was
didn't have
their
to
fault
remake
for
Final
showing
Fantasy
that
Type
trailer
Zero.
back when the right before the PS3
That
launch.
yeah,
That was they've damned themselves. But
there will be one eventually, but it will be all anime.
I'm sure. Well,
And
Crisis Core was a little anime.
yeah.
Anyways, so
So Dirge of Cerberus, that's the game we're talking
yes, we're
about.
talking about Dirge of Cerberus now. But anyway, I guess I'll start talking about my history. Mine's a little more cliche than yours because I didn't get started. I didn't play my first RPG because when I was younger, one of my first early memories was actually on an NES with Mario and Duck Hunt. So when it came to RPGs, I grew up more on platformers like Mega Man, Mario, and whatever licensed cartoon character I was into at the time.
Sure.
So those are what I more gravitated toward. I did get into things like Street Fighter and stuff like that, and things like that back in the day. But then eventually there was this collaboration between Square and Nintendo called Super Mario RPG, which I was a Mario fan
Of
anyway.
course.
So that
Yeah.
kind of opened my mind up to RPGs a little bit. And
Had you never played a role playing game before
have
that?
never played a
Okay.
role playing game before that. So that was pretty much my
All right.
gateway. I guess that was kind of a way to kind of get kids into it that never
Sure.
tried any of these other games. So I never played a game like I was like, what in the world is this? This is different.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That's a great
oh
game.
yeah,
too.
it's fantastic. It's definitely one of the best games on that system for sure.
Definitely.
And I got a coupon for that. I remember getting a coupon out of a magazine for that. And begging my mother to
Nice.
get it because here's a coupon, Mom. You like coupons. But yeah, then
This one was not court ordered.
no,
though.
not court ordered. No, not at all. Court ordered coupons. That's a new trend. Anyway, so yeah, then the PlayStation era rolled around. Of course, being a big Mega Man fan, I wanted a PlayStation 1 mainly because I wanted to play the Mega Man games coming out for it. Like I know there was Mega Man X4 coming out that year, which I was excited for.
Sure.
I was curious about Parappa the Rapper because I heard that hyped in the magazines, and and then this game called Final Fantasy VII. I was like, I've never heard of this, and there's 7 of them already. But I was curious about it, and I looked at some gameplay stuff. I was like, this made me think of Mario RPG a little bit. So
Same
yeah.
company.
yeah, same. Yeah, hey, like this was before the time right before that was before the time I realized other companies made games. I just thought it was like
Sure.
it's on Nintendo. It's probably Nintendo. Like that was of course I was really young, so
There was a time when that was true on Sega systems, when everything on that was just a Sega game.
yeah, kind of like how everything now on Nintendo is Nintendo.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I remember Christmas morning getting my PlayStation, not being able to play it because I didn't realize it didn't come with an RF adapter. We only had a TV at RF, of course. Then the next day we got it. I played Mega Man, of course. Played some Parappa. Got bored with Parappa. Actually, could not get into it. I'm terrible with rhythm games anyway.
Fair enough.
Then I tried Final Fantasy VII, and when I first played it, at first I didn't get into it because I guess I expected more Mario RPG out of it. It was like, you can't
Sure.
jump. What is this? You
Right.
can't jump in an RPG? Of course, like I said, I only played one other game. And then, of course, being young, not having money, you get bored. And I was like, okay, I pick it up again. And ever since then, I've been hooked on Final Fantasy VII. And then I don't care if it sounds cliche to say, but it is my favorite game. It introduced me not only to a lot more role playing games, but introduced me to more serious storylines and stuff. And I know it's not the first time. Slight spoiler here if you haven't played this 7 game, but when Eris dies, to me, like I was like a baby. I was actually literally like, this is the early days of the internet, where when you go online and you looked up cheats and codes and stuff like that, like
Sure.
everything was makeup. Like I remember looking up cheat codes for the quote unquote Pokegods, which are supposed to be new Pokemon, which turned out to be just things that glitched up your system instead of actually being cool Pokemon. But yeah. But anyway.
No, okay. I want to clarify something. When you say that it's your favorite game, do you mean in general, or do you mean just Final Fantasy?
In general, actually. It really is. It's a game that I constantly went back and played over and over. And, at first, I will admit that the plot is a little convoluted. But I felt like, what's weird is that the more I played it, the more it kind of started piecing it all together. So, like, I started to figure things out. And to me, it's become kind of, I'm not like a big Star Wars guy, but for me, it's kind of almost like my Star Wars, where I just like, I love that game so intensely. And of course, I love other games too, but I mean, that one was kind of got me into other.
I'm not a big Star Wars guy either, and I like Final Fantasy VII considerably more than most of those Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it doesn't have a man in an outfit with a respirator carrying a glow stick, but now you guys can like Star Wars. I actually went back and watched some of those movies. They ain't too bad. So.
Empire Strikes Back is great.
They're very good movies. They're well made.
When it's not written or directed by George Lucas, it's great. I actually have a different history with Final Fantasy VII.
Okay,
let's just sticking on that real quick.
Ahead.
I was so excited by the time Final Fantasy VII was announced. I was so excited that I was not willing to wait the year for it to come to the United States. I imported the game from Japan, mostly because there was a nice import shop, and I had a modded PlayStation at the time.
Ooh, you dirty pirate.
And I bought that import copy, and I went through that entire thing, not understanding a word of Japanese, and mostly just kind of relying on game facts and people making walkthrough guides on the internet. To get me through it.
Because the internet at the time, as I learned, is very reliable.
It got me through Final Fantasy VII.
Do you know that the one thing on the internet I kept trying to figure out how to revive Eris? I know some people call her Eris, but she's Eris to me because I don't know. It sounds like a bad lisp. I don't know.
Yes,
I'm the weird purist.
I'm
the weird purist. I don't really want to maintain the original Japanese. I just want to maintain whatever weird random translations they decided to do. I'm that odd one. It's like
so you're team Robotnik as opposed to team
Eggman. Absolutely. What the hell are they thinking, Sega?
So should Final Fantasy VII have been called Final Fantasy IV?
I think Final Fantasy VII, the number thing didn't really matter to me because, like I said, I never had a history prior to the series. So
fair enough. That was such a big number for such a long time ago.
I'm wondering, what did you think when you saw 7 instead of you're like, where the hell did the other games go? Or did you already?
Well, by that point, it was already well established that we weren't getting all of the Final Fantasy.
You were definitely old enough to know about the. Okay.
Yeah. We weren't, and we already knew we weren't getting most role-playing games here in the West, and that was the thing that Final Fantasy VII did more than anything was it made role-playing games such a big deal here in the United States that it liberated most companies to bring out their games, and so we got a ton of great role-playing games because of it, and we still get a ton of great role-playing games because of it, and we weren't getting those before. I mean, Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, depending on That was such a that didn't sell
I think
well
they
at
gave
all,
away
and
the first
they
game with Nintendo
yeah
powers, I believe.
yeah Nintendo Power ended up having Nintendo had so many of them left over, they ended up giving them out with Nintendo Power issues or subscriptions. So role playing games didn't take hold, and Final Fantasy VII it did, thankfully, because of the cinemas, mostly because it was so cinematic. And that's what Final Fantasy 15 is good at. It is incredibly cinematic in a way where if you're just watching it, you may not
Oh
know
yeah,
what's
we'll
being
get into
played.
that in a moment. I'm just gonna finish my little history thing off with it real quick.
Do it.
So yeah, then I got into 8, which I know is most people's least favorite. I liked it. What's funny is I didn't get into 9, which I'm gonna be
I
hated
like
and
that one.
vilified for. I guess maybe because maybe I need to go back and try it again. I got through halfway, but I just hated the main character. To me, he looked like some kind of like Goku knockoff with the monkey tail thing going on, which I didn't even realize there was a whole Monkey King legend that had been there for a
Sure.
long time. And apparently,
Right.
Dragon Ball Z was one of those many attempts to try to, um, I guess, popularize on that.
Yeah.
But anywho, then I kind of tapered off a little bit, and I kind of almost more of a casual fan. I had a harder time finishing some of the games. I did like Dirge Cerberus, despite what a lot of people didn't like that, but not perfect.
Did you not get into Final Fantasy X?
The thing is, I don't think I actually got into it till late. I don't know if I just fell off the wagon with RPGs or what happened.
Mhm.
It seemed like there wasn't as many, or at least I didn't really know about them. I guess because maybe at that point that it started tapering off a little bit in the PS2 era, because you didn't really hear about RPGs a whole lot.
We were still getting a ton of them
Yeah,
though.
I think it was maybe because all I relied on was either mainstream marketing or I was just playing with what my friends were playing. I think I was getting more into fighting games at that
Sure.
point. I
Absolutely.
discovered Guilty Gear in my high school years because someone brought a PlayStation 2 with this game on a trip, and I had no idea what it was, but it caught my eye. So that's pretty much how I got into
Yeah.
the Guilty Gear series, and I got insta killed because I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, have you checked out Final Fantasy X HD remaster,
I
the
have it
one
for
that came out?
Vita, and I'm probably going to get it on
Hmm.
PS4 so I can actually have it on a console.
Yep.
But yeah, that actually.
Yeah, I reviewed the Vita version, and I'll probably review the PS4
Yeah, there's so
version.
many games I have on my backlog that are just
Sure,
they'll
sure.
never get played until like I'm just waiting for the day that I just can't afford to buy games and they just stop making video games for some reason. Then I'm like, finally, I can start on all these games. Um,
Yeah, everything is Angry Birds clones.
yep, and then I'm just like, yep, I got these.
Yep. Let's deal with this
Yeah,
backlog.
and then yes, I did like Crisis Core though. There was this weird, for some reason, like as soon as I got to the boss, just no way I could defeat him. Just no way. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
Um,
fair enough.
But yeah, so that's kind of my history with it, and I played 13 and got stuck and frustrated with that game. So 15,
Did you go through that whole trilogy?
no, because I don't know. I just felt like I needed to beat the first game. Like maybe I didn't, but I felt
You
like
did.
I don't know. For the story wise, I wanted to, granted.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Uh,
The in fact, I reviewed the first one, didn't play the second one, reviewed the third one. So
how did
I
you
don't.
feel really engaged by that deep story?
I had to watch some videos about the second one.
But anywho, yeah. So that's pretty much. Oh, I really loved Dissidia, by the way. Dissidia was one of the best.
Yes,
Both of them were incredible. I imported the first Dissidia, and I actually somehow got to level 99, even though I had no idea what I was
Nice.
doing. Um, I really did. You see the arcade video they did?
I saw the announcement.
They
for
need to
it.
bring that to consoles. If they don't, I'm going to be pissed. I want that. I don't. I don't. I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully it does have a deep, rich battle system. But even so, hell, I would. Yeah.
The fact that it's an arcade game makes me worry that it's not going to have the stuff I liked about.
Well, Japanese
Um,
arcade games seem a little more sophisticated. Like I think you can like keep
that could-
profiles and stuff like that. I think they even have like arcade RPGs. Um,
Yeah, all right, fair
I
enough.
believe so. They use a lot of car technology, so. But I haven't researched it in depth.
But probably none of that is going to be in Final Fantasy 15.
No, there is no cards to use in Final Fantasy 15 whatsoever.
Or
That's
maybe
arcade.
there will be by the time it
You
comes
never know.
out.
We may have a Final Fantasy 15 arcade machine that we'll never get. But anyways, let's go ahead and start talking about the game. So as far as let's just talk about the graphics, presentation, and stuff. The game looks beautiful, I think. It looks really
Yeah.
fantastic. Yes, the protagonists do look like a '90s boy band. Uh,
It's it's like when Harmonix announced Rock Band
mhm.
Japan back a bunch of years ago. It's like that. I
Except you
imagine the
slay
role playing
monsters.
version of it,
Yes, yes.
which I'm all for. That I'm fine with that. I'm the protagonists seem fine. I hope that their banter is better than it is here. It's
I
fine
actually,
here,
I
but
didn't mind it. I felt like I got kind of an idea how it's going to be because it does seem like they
yeah,
actually
yeah.
do play off of each other, which is kind of
I think it
nice.
needs more
Yeah,
context.
I think it does. Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely needs more context, but you do get the feeling like they know each other. It's not just like,
Sure.
okay, here's a bunch of random people that just got together. We got to go save the world, guys. I mean, they feel like that they
Right.
actually. I like that dynamic that they actually know each other. And
And I hope that's not the story.
yeah,
That they have to go, and I hope that it's just a road trip and maybe they're off to do
yeah,
something
they
and then,
actually said like
they're
in the beginning they were off. They have to do something, but the car's broken
okay.
because one of their friends did a thing. Because it sounds like a true
But
road
in
trip type thing. Like, oh, the
yeah.
stupid friend did a thing, and now we're screwed.
And then we'll meet somebody and that person will have an adventure for
And
us.
then Tom
And I'm
will
curious
pop
to
up
see if
because you know why.
I'm curious to see if what it will be is just a series of these large areas to explore.
Yeah, I think there might be, that's going to be the thing that they're very curious about when it comes to like, but of course in the demo, the only thing that we do have is there's a big area to explore, which is mainly like a gas station, a chocobo ranch, uh,
A little
a
lake
little lake
area,
area, yeah,
some mountain, like
mountains,
foresty
forests, there's
area.
caverns you can explore in.
Yep.
So that's really, really neat. And I love they got, of course, they got the whole day night cycle.
Yes, yeah, that's really cool, and I like that there's it's not exactly Dark Souls or anything like that, but they have a unique way of leveling up where you actually have
Camp
to
and
you
stuff.
do all of your fighting during the day and then you rest up at night. So I guess you'll lose that maybe if you die before you get to
I think
night
yeah,
or
if you
before you
die, you lose
rest.
your experience. I think that's how that
Okay.
goes.
And that it's a nice compromise between maybe the real the frustration of Dark Souls and traditional Final Fantasy. It's a nice compromise.
I think
I like
we'll rush
that.
through the graphics portion real quick. Get that out of the way. We'll talk about gameplay because I can tell you really seem to want to talk about it. So the I I like the environment and stuff. I like that weird mix. Like what's funny is I was actually more excited for this game when it was announced than regular 13. I don't the just the
Hmm.
idea of a modern like fantasy mixed with modernish elements, even though some of the cars kind of look like they're out of the 50s and stuff like that. Um,
It has a fun retro
yeah,
chic
yeah,
aesthetic,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And I
But but it's neat because it has water towers and it has
yeah.
traffic signs and regular roads. It's all recognizable enough, but different enough to where it feels very modern and Western,
Right.
not European like a lot of like Final Fantasy. What was it 12?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 12 had a very European vibe to
Yeah.
it, and so did 13 to an extent.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff was either more sci-fi, like geared toward the sci-fi, or
Sure.
geared toward the fantasy aspects.
Yeah.
Where this one seems like it's kind of just doing a mix of different things that you don't see in a lot of RPGs. Like the only thing I would say, I wouldn't say it's super close, but the only RPGs that do something similar to this is usually the SMT or the Persona games, where they try to be more of a modern setting.
Yeah,
But they take
definitely.
place more of a modern real world as opposed to where this is kind of
Right.
a made up world that is similar to a lot of the modern technologies and modern things, like cell phones, cars. Um,
Yeah, it's fantasy in a way we haven't seen in a lot of other Final Fantasy games, and
I
that's
haven't really
refreshing.
seen
In
it in
fact,
many other games, to be exact.
in
Yeah.
general, yeah,
S-
yeah,
I would
definitely.
actually love to see like other people take ideas like this and run with it, like a lot of Western devs, and see what they do, with that kind of idea, and see where that
Yeah.
would go. Like fighting the dragon in New York City, like a modern day New York City, that'd be weird and crazy.
Darksiders did that.
Oh yeah. But I guess that's a little more like based on like a post-apocalyptic type stuff.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Anywho, yeah, I guess back to this thing. I guess what do you think about the enemy designs and the world designs and stuff like that? Like,
there weren't a ton of enemies to fight here, unfortunately. And I mean, you can fight some of the more docile, you just kind of
the cute little
characters,
elephant
the
things.
sheep. Yeah, you can fight those, and I learned that wasn't a good idea. Especially the
It's
big
like
ones.
as if they're in, and the cool thing is though about it, they're like in a herd and stuff. So like they know like, hey, we got to protect the herd. So.
But the other enemies are fine.
Yeah.
But there's just like a pack of dogs, and
I like how
the
the goblins don't look like a typical Final Fantasy. They look creepier. They do. They look more nightmarish, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the boss stuff at the stuff at the end. That
by the way,
design's
spoiler.
great.
I guess we're going to spoil things a little bit in this one.
This game's like 7 years old now.
The demo.
So I mean, people have already played this.
The game is not old. Its announcement is old, but it is not old because it's been scrapped several times. So I don't know. Should we go into spoilers at all in this one?
Of course, we should go into
okay,
spoilers.
Guys.
Everybody dies at the end.
Or do they? So yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, go make a sandwich or something, or check out Cheryl's. Cheryl. Why am I calling you Cheryl? Sarah.
Cheryl.
Damn, I've been getting your name right the whole time. Now I'm calling you Cheryl. I'm sorry. What the heck is with me? Hello? Oh, okay. I thought I offended you and you stormed off. And you're that asshole. Dare you call me Cheryl?
I'm sure that'll all be cut out.
Yeah.
Or you'll bleep it, just like in Kill Bill.
In Kill Bill.
For dramatic effect. And then we'll find out that my name's actually something they've been referring to the whole time.
Anyways, I probably better not say your name anymore, or else I will ruin it. But you go check out his videos. I'll put links below, and his site where he does. Do you just do reviews or do you articles and stuff too?
No, tons of articles and comedy pieces and editorials and reviews, new and old,
and
thousands of pieces there at defunctgames.com.
Yeah, defunctgames.com. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up and get this Stacy.
Spoiler alert. Let's get
all right.
Spoiler
stuff. Okay, yeah. So you were talking about the behemoth. He is huge.
He's
huge. Big dog.
He seems insurmountable.
Ooh.
And in fact, largely is insurmountable if it's not, but you get a summon.
Yes, and the summon is Ramana, I believe I'm saying that correctly, which is the thunder god of some sort. So, and that's actually probably one of the... I've never seen Final Fantasy summons look like that before. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is... If more summons are like that, imagine what Bahamut or... I know some...
Now I just want to hear you pronounce every Final Fantasy summon.
Knights of the Round.
Yes. No, that is an incredible effect. And Final Fantasy summons have always looked good. In fact, people have complained they have often been too long. And this one's long, but it is really
it's spectacular.
effective.
And also too, it affects the environment too. Like
it does.
Yeah,
definitely.
I got surrounded by a group of soldiers and a group of the elephants. And so what did I do? I was near dead and I was like, screw this. Let's summon the lightning guy and just destroyed everything. And then there was like the grass was on fire, and that was just neat. Like they didn't just sit like, okay, here you get to transform into a summon for a little bit, or here's a little guy that comes out and he's going to hit his lightning stick at people. No, like they went full out, like kind of like how the traditional summons were, where they just pop out, they do a thing, but it's on a more spectacular level than they ever have done.
It seems like it's going to be more impactful. Like it will actually come with some consequences.
Yeah, it looks like you have to be near death to use it, so I don't know if that's how it is in the full game, or if each one has a certain condition you have to require.
That's probably the case, yeah. So, I guess we'll find out in a year or whenever it comes out.
Yeah, even though this game's been out for a while, according to you, sir.
Well, the demo.
The demo just been out for a month.
Well,
anyway, let's go to the only thing I think graphically is that they need to work on. I'm sure they'll probably, hopefully they'll iron it out. Is like there's some spots where it just lags.
Oh sure, the frame rate's real spotty, but that is often one of the final things that happens in a game's development. So that is not indicative. I don't think this demo is indicative of what we'll actually see. In fact, I doubt we'll see any of this stuff.
So you feel like that this
game.
game's going to run smoothly?
I think not only will it, I mean, Final Fantasy games in general come out when they're done and polished. There aren't many examples. I mean, except for Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
that launch was tragic, but aside from that, Square waits until they're done, and they don't rush them. They don't need to rush them. They're not beholden to a yearly cycle or something like that. So they'll get it out when it's out. But I think more importantly, I think a lot of this stuff, including the gameplay, most importantly, I think a lot of this is going to be a lot different by the time we actually play the full game.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the gameplay portion of it. I know.
See how I segued right into
Yes, you did.
that?
You did awesome. Fantastic. It's like you've done this before.
Almost as if I've done it before.
So,
as if this is like the 4th or 5th time we've recorded
yes. And luckily, I think we may actually get through this if the recording doesn't fail or we don't get off topic again. But yes, so gameplay-wise, how did you feel as far as like the combat goes? Like, what do you want to see? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it?
As dopey of an idea as it is to have swords pop out of your hand, I didn't mind that idea because it gave us a lot of variety of weapons and attacks and whatnot. But it didn't seem real consistent. Like, I couldn't figure out how to constantly have the same weapon do the same thing. And I felt like maybe that's the sort of thing that will get ironed out.
Yeah, because I think the way they intend it to be is it's supposed to be like you're building a combo in a way, but with the different weapons. So the first attack is whatever sword, then the next attack is another sword, and then the other button is another kind of sword.
Yeah, but it didn't seem consistent, or how I got each of those things didn't seem consistent enough to where I actually figured all that out. And maybe that's just me, but I think that some of that will probably be
or
maybe
maybe there's like some other nuances. Maybe when you hold forward versus when you don't.
Sure.
It attacks a certain way. It didn't really go into depth in explaining some of the nuances.
Not at all.
Because there was something like, because I was mentioning gameplay spoilers, and I don't know if you actually went back and did this or not, because I think I just remember telling you about it. But if you find these 3 swords, you start out with one, and then you find these 2 other swords, you get that ability that he gets in the trailer where the swords spin around, and usually you have to have full MP to access it. And once you do access it, you basically get these swords around you. You do a lot of extra damage. You move fast. Like it's kind of like a Super Saiyan mode, where you're just like going out and attacking these. You still have control of your character, but your MP drains when you use it. But I was seeing somebody like in a video online, they were actually literally like hopping on top of these guys, like hopping on, attacking, and just like doing the stuff in the air. And I'm like, how in the world is he doing it? Like, I could not figure it out.
That's really cool.
But the game never explains to you. They didn't even explain to you how to activate it. I had to look up how to activate it. So hopefully in the game it actually tells you what to do. But maybe that was like a little Easter egg they put in there. Like, they didn't want you to start out with it right away because it's too powerful. Maybe because it was pretty powerful.
I also hope that we're able to switch characters either on the fly or perhaps between days or something like that, where I can control. Because I saw these other characters, all of whose name I have completely forgotten. And the guy's jumping around and doing backflips and shooting people, and that looked like so much fun. And I worried
Promptus or something. I think it was something with a P.
Yeah, it could be. But I worried that I was going to spend 50 hours playing this one character when all I was going to want was to play the other 3.
They've said that mainly it's going to be him, but there's also going to be other people that join the party as well, from what I've heard. But I understand.
Yeah, I just want to be able to switch between. I
understand.
Yeah,
I understand that completely. And who knows? Maybe it might be more rewarding than you think. But I understand that. I understand the concern too.
We'll see.
Yeah, time will tell. It's still early though. I never was able to figure out how to pull off the team moves. You've seen some of these in other videos where like you would like what was it, like one of you would knock the elephant back, and then the other person would come in, swing in, and then do an attack, and then you would high-five your buddy or fist bump them or something after they helped out or whatever. which I thought was kind of a neat thing, but I could never figure out how to pull that off.
Yeah.
So the demo
Interesting.
doesn't really teach you other than a few basics, but it doesn't really go into the more, cool stuff that you could really do with it unless you like figure it out on your own. So hopefully, the game's more like that.
It's just a
Yeah,
taste.
exactly. But yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of potential for stuff. I thought it was interesting how like the characters that you walk by and talk to, like the NPCs, like I don't think there was one of the NPCs I ever ran into where like it was just plain textile. Like they actually acted out
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that there's better female representation than basically the one woman
Oh
you end up
yes,
dealing with, the
Sid.
mechanic.
Yes, we forgot about her, Sydney or
Oh,
whatever her name is. Yeah. I think there was one that they've shown in trailers past, which I don't know if she's going to be a rival of his or what. It was like
yeah.
I don't know who she is, or I think she's still going to be in this game somehow. But yeah, she was. Yeah. The mechanic was a little bit on the showy side.
Yeah. It I don't know. So much of the world, they're setting up such a world that seems believable, that when I see things like that, when I see, a mechanic who is basically at a strip club, that it makes no sense. It takes me out of the world, even though she's an attractive woman. But and I'm sure that
Control
plenty of
yourself.
17-year-old,
Control yourself, sir.
it's I don't know, just not. I wish I hope there are more there are better characters
Yeah,
throughout.
who knows? Maybe that's not the only thing we'll see, or maybe she'll actually wear something
Definitely.
nicer for a change.
Right.
Apparently, her dad doesn't seem to mind because she mentions her dad or whatever. Like, yeah, my daddy. It's like your dad lets you wear that. Come on now. No. But anyways, yeah. What's funny is that the characters seem oblivious to it. Like they don't even comment on it. They're just like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Like, yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see though, and I'm curious to see. I was really excited by the cinema at the end that showed all of the big
Hmm.
cities that some of which have been
Yeah,
destroyed. It looks like, and I'm excited to see how they recreate things that I know, or the larger cities and
yeah.
places
I
that
mean,
aren't
they've
just the
also,
wilderness.
they've already showed tech demos and stuff of the city and some of the
Yeah.
combat in the city, which I'm a little sad that we couldn't get like a little taste of some of the city areas and stuff. But it is kind of nice to see what the open areas are going to look like. I'm glad that like we don't know how it's going to be sectioned off when it comes to it. If it's just going to be one giant world that's connected to everything, or if there's going to be points to where it will be like a load screen and then you have to load into another area. Um,
Right.
when it comes to it. But yeah, overall, though, it didn't even generally have any load times except for the initial load up.
Right. Which was
Right,
long.
exactly. So, but
Uh,
that's not bad considering that
no.
that's the only load time you hit.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fair. I think that no, I enjoyed the big size, and I also liked that it was we had to do some
Yeah,
investigating. It wasn't just go to a dungeon and look around a dungeon and
they
find
had
something.
like
It
quest
was
things, and they told you had
yeah,
step by step, and it showed you areas and all that fun.
and the quest came out
Yes,
organically. It came up from somebody just
right.
mentioning it, and not from us going to a town and hearing somebody talk about it or something like that. It was really neat. I'm a big fan of what they did
Yeah,
here.
and hopefully more of it's like that. And like I said, I was mentioning earlier, I liked how the dynamic dialogues. Because I remember walking up, or actually, well, no, I watched a video on this, which I think might be the first time you see domestic abuse in Final Fantasy. Which I don't know how far some of this stuff's going to go, because like there was a Chocobo Ranch, and there's a couple arguing over about tossed out lettuce or something, vegetables of some sort. And he's apologizing to the wife. He's like, I thought they were old. She's like, no, they're leftovers. And then she slaps him across the face really hard. Then the chocobos squawk, kind of like the chocobos are saying, damn. Um, yeah, so yeah, Final Fantasy, domestic abuse. Ugh, a little awkward. I felt awkward after seeing that. I was like, holy, they did that? I
Hmm.
don't know if there's going to be more moments like that, or if maybe in Japan it's just normal this thing happens. I don't know. But it was, I don't know, it was a weird moment for me. I don't know how I felt about
Hmm.
that one. But yeah, I mean, other than that though, I thought it was really neat how organic most of it felt when it
Definitely.
came to things like the little mini chocobo mission, where the monster, like, you just walk into the area, I think, and then like it tells you that there's a chocobo in danger. Like,
Hmm.
that was organic because it was happening like right near you. It wasn't like, oh, this is happening a few, like, several miles away, you need to get there. Like, it was like, oh no,
Yeah,
you can see it right in front of you, because it made more natural sense that way.
definitely. And and there weren't random battles, or when you get into a battle, you can easily run
Right.
away. Usually, you can easily run away by just running
Yeah.
away. There's I'm a big fan of some of the changes
I
they've
kind
done
of wish
here,
that
and
they
it
didn't do stamina for running. I thought that was a little, I don't know. I just thought that was kind
well,
of dumb.
you have to.
But you know, and what about the combat itself? How did you like his combat, his gameplay? I know we,
Like, aside from not being able to switch characters, which I've
yeah,
already mentioned, I wish that maybe like there was a I don't know, a better way. There was maybe just a button to dash out of the way, as opposed to the way
yeah, it's a
you do
little
it in the.
tricky, and I still haven't got
Yeah.
quite used to it yet. And it does. I think that's interesting that they're using MP to consume it instead of
Yeah.
it just be a dedicated, because I guess maybe they want you to use some strategy with it. That's their way of forcing you strategy, and we also don't know. Like, the main character is supposed to be able to use magic, and we've seen it from trailers and stuff. So that
Right.
wasn't available here. So how will that affect you dodging and stuff? Like, how much meter will magic burn, and will that
Yeah.
hurt you when it comes to defending yourself? Uh,
But I do like the idea of being able to quickly, you know, dash out of the way, or dash up to
Absolutely.
a mountain top, or something like that, where I can actually get out of a fight. I'm a
Well,
big
that
fan
one's
of
a
the way
little
they
bit
handle
different.
that.
Are you talking about the sword
Yes.
throw?
Yeah. 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 I like.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
In
that
that
does
case, I
use
am. But
MP. The running, like the regular running,
right.
doesn't use MP. It uses like
Right.
I guess like a stamina. I don't know if I could ever seen the stamina bar, but apparently I guess there's a stamina bar that when it comes around.
Yeah, because you slow
Right,
down
right.
after a while,
Because he gets out of breath, and
as you
as
do.
anyone would do,
Absolutely.
unless they're Kratos or something, because they could just run forever.
He just wants to die.
Ares, I'm upset. Anyway,
When's the God of War role playing game going to come
I'm
out?
not for sure yet. I'm sure it'll be rated E for everybody.
There you
God of War
go.
for kids. Hey, they did it with Mortal Kombat. They made a kid show out of Mortal Kombat. Why not? It'll be like made by the people that did the Hercules cartoon series for Disney.
There was a Hercules
Yes, there
cartoon
was. I watched
series.
it.
Weird.
I think Danny DeVito was in it, but I think that's all I
Huh.
remember. Or somebody that
You know.
sounded like him. I don't know.
Hey, the voice acting in this is
It's not
okay.
bad. Some people really hated it. It definitely kind of. I think Noctis definitely has that Nolan Batman kind of thing going on with
Yeah.
his voice. I haven't listened to the Japanese dialogue, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't hate it. I like it, but I don't. I'm not in love with it. I mean, to me, it
Yeah.
seems on par with what most Japanese, I mean, English dubs are. Um, when it comes to these, and you got to work with a script that's from a different culture and different language,
Of
and
course.
things like some people just don't understand that. But yeah, and the demo does have Japanese, but they're not for sure if they're going to do um what was it, like an actual Japanese audio track. But I think for 13 they
Hmm.
actually, because even though they couldn't fit it on the disc, they did let you download it to PS3 for
Oh,
free, if you did want the Japanese voices. So that was kind of neat of them to do that.
interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Hmm. So, but yeah, I guess we'll just close it with our final thoughts, unless there's something you really. Well, okay. Final thoughts. What do you think of this demo? Are you excited for the game now? Are you still skeptical? Do you wish that you had clothes like they do?
It wasn't as scary as PT.
Okay.
Um, I'm glad I don't have the clothes
I think you would
that they
rock it.
have, but
I don't know what you look
I
like, but
am
I'm assuming you
happy.
would rock it.
I'm excited that they are finally doing something with the Rock Band Japan
Mhm.
property. No, everything. I'm a big fan of this. I like the way that this looks, and I hope that I hope it turns out. I hope that it doesn't end up being bad.
Yeah, I have high hopes for it. I feel like that even though Type Zero was a PSP port, like that game kind of
Sure.
showed me the direction I think they're wanting to go now when it comes with their games. Um, like I said, even though that's an older game, and you kind of see that some of those elements and stuff kind of go into that, and you see that, of course, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be coming out, and of course that, a lot of, I think Kingdom Hearts basically kind of started a lot of stuff like Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Type Zero HD, and I think even
Hmm.
some of that's you know, kind of affecting this in a way as well because they didn't really. I know they probably did action RPGs in the past, but nothing like a 3D action, like nothing like this. I don't think it comes before
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. I don't think anything of that level or that system.
Well, I like that the director, who of course also did Type Zero and Crisis Core, I like that he is trying different
Yeah.
things, and this flies in the face of the people who continue to suggest that Final Fantasy is always the same from one game to the next, even though they
I
changed
feel that
drastically.
sometimes they tried a little too hard. I felt like so there's some people that like their teens battle system. I never could wrap my head around it.
Oh, I
I
love
could
13's
never
Final
grasp my
or
head
the
around it.
yeah.
Um,
Like there's plenty of things wrong with Final Fantasy 13, but the combat system is great.
I don't know. Like like I feel so lost. I feel like that there's it's harder to kind of easily get into. I feel like you have to study to understand that system. Uh,
Yeah, after some practice, it becomes like almost like a rhythm game.
yeah, though I don't know. Just I don't know. I don't want to talk about that game anymore. But in all honesty, though, when it comes to, I feel like this one, though it's not perfect. Like some of the enemies, like it's hard to kind of keep locked on. When you lock on, they don't.
Yes, definitely.
What lock on is supposed to do is follow a target. At least that's what I've always believed, but it doesn't really do that here. So that
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
that,
Demo.
yeah. Hopefully that gets improved. Hopefully that's a change because I know they've been taking feedback on the demo, and I've left some feedback on it when it
Definitely.
comes to that. Um, yeah, hopefully they, kind of like let us know more about the systems, and I'd love to see what this turns out to be and what it can be. So, I mean, I was already pumped for this game before,
Yeah,
because I just something I always wanted, and I wasn't for sure if we were ever getting it, and now I'm like even more excited. So, and I can't wait to see
definitely.
what our bros are going to be doing when they go on their road trip.
Yeah. I'm curious to find out what their backstory
I hope Tom
is,
Green
or
makes
if
an appearance.
man, I hope they're in a band.
And Tom Green's like, "Look, I'm on stage."
Tom
How
Green.
relevant is he,
Oh
huh?
no. Jeez.
Doesn't he have one of those road trippy type movies? Those one of those terrible comedies.
Oh, you're probably right.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody remembers him.
Boy,
Pepperidge
I don't
Farm.
think Tom Green when I think of road movies though. Like I think of Thelma and Louise,
Oh,
or I don't know. There's plenty of other ones, I
somebody needs
suppose.
to think of poor Tom.
Easy Rider. That's a good road movie. You
Mad
seen that one?
Max.
That's a good. No, because he doesn't really travel very far. He's kind of just in a
Oh,
location.
but he's still driving.
Like, yeah,
I
but
don't. But there's
that
no
no,
roads. There's no
a
roads.
road movie has specific
Like
tropes.
roads.
Like they are on a trip to someplace, and then along the way things happen to make them, either a car breaks down, or they meet some people
How
along the
about Herbie
way,
the Love
or they
Bug?
get in. No,
I'm
that's
messing
a,
with you.
that's
Talladega Nights. They're going in a road.
no. These are
They're going to
just
the
car
goal.
movies.
They're going to a goal. They start at the starting line, and their trip is to get to the
I
goal.
think this has devolved into a ridiculous topic.
Yep, and I think that means it's time for the end. So thank you guys for watching yet again. If you like this, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Also, you should check out Defunct Games. Like,
You should not check
you
out
should
Defunct
totally do it.
Games, and you should not subscribe to Defunct Gamer on YouTube. You should not subscribe or follow at Defunct Games. You shouldn't do any of that. Just go on your life, forgetting I exist.
I will never forget you. You are like Tom Green to me. Well, and with that, thank you guys. And until next time, game on.
Tom Green's better than Pauly Shore, I suppose.